morning, guys. So I have all sunscreen in my eyebrows because every morning that's the first thing that I do is put on like a ton of sunscreen up in there. Oh, sweet. You did my favorite cup. Hey guys, so it's around 1 p.m. and we're going to head to West Hollywood, and I'm going to be on one of my friend's YouTube shows as a guest. So I'm really excited. I did my hair. I just curled a few pieces here and there, like some pieces, like as you can see through there. Ooh, hopefully nobody looks there. I didn't really curl that good. So I don't know everything that she wants to talk about. I think some things she kind of just wants it to be like a flow, you know what I mean? Like not go over like talking points, but I know a little bit we're going to be talking about different challenges that you face when you are pursuing your dreams and your career, and you know that not everything is like, not everything goes smoothly. So we're definitely going to be talking about that and then just see where the conversation goes. So I love interviews like that where they're not like structured. And I was totally making fun of my outfit on Snapchat. Am I gonna ride a horse or, right? Like it looks like a horseback riding outfit. I'm like, to be honest.
Very hot. Cute thing.
You know how you do weird things when you're alone?
Oh yeah.
Okay, dancing to this song. This is how I do it when I'm alone.
Oh, that's great. Wow. Next video, how to dance like say, how to pick up a dude in the club.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
Living our best
life.
On air.
Cool. Okay, so what do how should I sit? Like, should I cross my legs? Like, can you see legs or no legs?
Sit, closer in.
Okay.
So that you're in the frame there.
Cool.
Put it all the way out of the bottom if you can.
Oh, through the shirt?
Yep. Grab it down the bottom.
Getting mic'd up.
Guys, so I just got home and we're just gonna sit on my bed and chill, and I thought that we could talk about the top books that have literally changed my life. I know you guys see, you know, positive and fairyland and all that kind of stuff in my life, but honestly guys, it took work to get here and it wasn't always the case. And the same thing with confidence and really pursuing my dreams and putting myself out there. I didn't always do that kind of stuff. I wasn't always good at that stuff. So I just thought that today we could talk about the top books that really have changed my life, starting from the beginning up until now. So kind of like a timeline. So like starting like when things weren't so good in my life, like what was the first book, and then the second, and then the third, and then how I got here. The first one that I want to talk about is The Secret. The Secret is an introduction to the law of attraction. It first came into my life through the documentary. So it's a book and there also is a documentary that goes along with the book. So I saw the documentary first. One of my teachers showed it to us. I was in college in an awful place in my life. It was the second semester of first year in college when my teacher showed us the documentary, and just kind of like a little backstory of where I was like emotionally and mentally and all that kind of stuff. So a year before I was in high school, right? Because this was my first year in college, second semester. And I was really ambitious in high school. I had really great work ethic, and I kind of had all these hopes and dreams, and I thought that they were gonna all happen immediately after I graduated. And I was, I guess, naive in that way, but I just thought, you know what? I've been working so hard these past 4 years. I was going to 2 different schools at the time. I was going to regular school, and then I was also going to acting, writing, you know, theater, film, like kind of like artsy school in New York City. So I would do that on the weekends and traditional school during the week. I was also working. I worked at a retail store. At the time that my parents, you know, really believed in me and helped me with my hobbies and, you know, drove me to different acting class and dance class. And then when it was time to go to college, I thought, you know what, I might want to take a year off. Maybe I don't want to go into college. And then that's when my parents kind of changed and were like, no, you're definitely going to college. Like, you can't take a year off. And I felt like in high school, they allowed me to really express myself and, you know, try different hobbies. Then once high school was over and it was time for college, it was like the real world. Maybe you guys can relate, but it's kind of like you have this dream, you have this goal, and then it just gets like crushed. That was kind of the first year in college. I just kind of felt like down. All of those things kind of led to me feeling negative, down on myself, insecure, like what am I good at? If, you know, I thought I was good at these things, but now I'm being pushed to be in business school. I'm not really good at that. So it's the first day of second semester. I'm taking my health and wellness class at the time. It's one of my electives, something other than business, so I was really excited. I show up to class and the teacher's rolling in the TV and plays a documentary, The Secret. Now, every single person in the class was like, this is so cheesy. So the kid just gets a bike. This guy's just getting checks in the mail? Yeah, right. And then this was me. As cheesy as The Secret can be, I know that some people find that documentary to be super cheesy and super over the top and unrealistic and all of that. I needed that hope, guys. I needed the hope that my life was going to change and that I had the control to make it happen. Not my parents, not my family, not my teachers, not my peers, not anybody else but me. You have to truly believe that you are the creator of your own life. That at the end of the day, you have the power to make things happen, and that if you want something and if you truly believe it, then it will. So after I watched the documentary, I came home and I was so inspired, and then that's then when I bought the book. So I have it on ebook, I have the Audible version, I also have the hard copy version, which is at my mom's house. Honestly, guys, up until that documentary and the book, I had never heard the term law of attraction. Like, I've never heard of that. I never thought, you know, positive thoughts lead to positive actions. Like, of course that's like simple, but no one's ever explained that to me. You know what I mean? Power of gratitude, being grateful for what you already have. Like, yes, it's nice to look forward to things in the future, but being grateful for what you already have. So I really do think that if you've never applied the law of attraction to your life and you don't know a lot about it and you do want to know more, definitely give the documentary a shot, but then also get the book, because the book really explains things so simple, especially for those that are new to the law of attraction. The second book that I want to talk about that definitely changed my life is the book Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, who is the Chief Operating Officer at Facebook. So she's an incredible woman, like the original girl boss. And so I read this my last year in college. So last year in college, I am making YouTube videos at this point, but only like here and there, like once a month. So you guys know I upload 3 videos a week. At this time, I was only uploading videos once a month. When I wasn't stressed with school and studying and having a social life and all that, I would post videos. I feel like every female should read Lean In, because it really does talk about, you know, issues that women face in the workplace and inequality and kind of stereotypes too. I have so many feelings for this book, which is why I pass it on to friends and family members, and why I don't even have the book anymore, although I do want to get it again. Honestly, it just kind of opens your mind and opens your heart too, and compassion, to have compassion too, that women have to work twice as hard in the workplace to be taken seriously. But one chapter that really opened up my eyes and that I related to in that very time that I was reading the book, that as women, we almost feel like we're not enough, that we're almost like, I think she uses the example that like we think we're fraud, that someone's gonna catch on to us, that we can't work as hard as a man, or that we're not as qualified, or whatever the case may be. And the reason why I related to that part of the book so much and in that time was because it was my last year in college and I was writing up my resume, and I remember sending it out and emailing it out to all different companies, and one came back right away and they were like, oh, we'd like you to come in for an interview. And in that moment, even before I started reading this book, I had the sense of feeling like, oh no, I hope I'm good enough. Like, I hope I'm qualified for the position. Like, I hope when I get there, they don't ask me questions that I don't know, or I hope that they don't put me on the spot, or I hope I don't look stupid. And I had all these things going through my head. Meanwhile, I had just earned that business degree, and I'm definitely qualified for the position. And whatever I don't know, I can learn when I'm there. So instead of going at it with that mindset, I went at it like, oh no, I hope I'm qualified. I hope I'm okay, and all these different things. And she talks about that in the book, that yes, that's a normal feeling, and it made me feel not alone. I studied just as hard as everyone else. I deserve to go on the interview too. You know, and the chapter went on to, you know, talk about like, we're always wondering, do we measure up? And you know, sometimes we could feel embarrassed to ask for help at work because we should already know the answer, or at school to raise our hands, or anything like that. And I think that just hearing that other people had that insecurity made me feel confident. As weird as that was, it was like reading that that was a totally normal thing that's going on, even though maybe it shouldn't be, but that it is, made me feel so much better. And it really did change my life. The entire book, like I said, I think all women should read this book. Third book that has changed my life, I actually have a copy to show you guys. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. As you guys know, I love this book. I talk about it all the time. I have pages folded, I've written in this book. I overall think that this is a really great read. So funny, I found this book when I was in the airport. Before I heard anything about this book, I know that this book has really taken over and a lot of people have this on their coffee table and have read this book, but I actually was attracted to the yellow color. So when I saw this at the airport, I was like, oh my God, that's like a gorgeous book. It said you are a badass, and I was like, you know what? I have a 4-hour flight. I'm gonna read it. Till this day, I think this is one of the best impulse purchases I ever had. Sometimes when I'm about to buy a book, I'll like research about it a little, but the flight was about to take off. I had to be boarding and I was just like, oh. To me, this book is the ultimate self-help book. Before I read this book, I used to think that the ultimate self-help book was Unlimited by Jillian Michaels. I highly recommend that, and even though that book is not on my list, I mean, I still think Unlimited is a great book and it is one of my favorite books, but I really wanted to narrow this video down to like my top favorites. Unlimited is also a really great self-help book in that it reminds me of this book, and that it's sort of a mixture between you can do it, you got this, but also tough love. Like, get your act together, work your butt off, you have to earn it. No one's gonna give it to you, no one's gonna hand it to you. I honestly think this is really the ultimate self-help book because, like I said before, it's the tough love mixed with the motivation and inspiring stuff too, but also like that, like, you have to do this for you. But also she gives you lessons. You know, she talks about like, okay, you need to do this, you need to make time to motivate. She kind of helps you come up with a plan of action rather than just sharing her story or sharing, you know, philosophies and talking about the law of attraction and this and that, but also giving you kind of step-by-step things you need to do. I just think this book is a must read, and she's freaking hilarious. So as you're reading it, you're not just like, okay, yeah, I really need to improve on that. It actually makes you want to be like, yes, I like this part that I really want to read to you guys. So often when we say we're unqualified for something, what we're really saying is that we're too scared to try it, not that we can't do it. Most of the time, it's not a lack of experience that's holding us back, but rather the lack of determination to do what we need to do to be successful. I think not only does she come up with a plan of action, but she also digs to that place that maybe you don't want to admit, and maybe that you are afraid to even get into and unleash. Like, yeah, maybe the reason why I'm not doing that is because I've never tried, or the reason why I'm not doing that is because I come up with all these excuses. The next book that I want to talk about is Girlboss by Sophia Amoruso. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't want to read that book for the longest time. I would see it on Instagram, I would see it, you know, like friends would tell me about it, and I was like, yeah, okay, like it wasn't something that jumped out at me. But then one day I decided to get the audio version, and guys, I listened to it all day. I was so excited while listening to it. It just made me feel good. It was like almost like watching a TV show. It was such a great book to listen to. If you're looking to listen to something in a long car ride or on the way to work, definitely download it. I made all my friends and family members download it and listen to it. So I listened to this book last year, and it was at a time where I was kind of losing some of my creative flow. Like, some days video ideas come so naturally to me and I can't wait to film them, and I'm writing them down and I'm really in a great groove and I'm waking up early and filming videos. But there was a period last year where I kind of felt like I was just kind of going with the motions and just kind of taking a lot of video requests, but not necessarily filming exactly what I really wanted to share too. And I think that you kind of, on YouTube at least as a creator, I think you kind of have to have the mix of both. I think you definitely need to take video requests and share things that your subscribers want to see, but then I think you also need to kind of fulfill your creative outlet and film videos that you're passionate about and film videos that really excite you. So if you've read the book, then you know this part of the book, but this is where I can actually go back and listen to this any day of the week, and it makes me feel so excited and inspired. But it's the part of the book, if you guys don't know, Sophia Amoruso started the clothing line Nasty Gal. And so it's the part of the book where she's getting the business going. Like, she's taking in orders, she's working all hours of the night, she's working all day. And she talks about in the beginning of the book that she wasn't always the hardest worker and she would skip out on work and this and that. But once she started her own company, she was so passionate about it that hours could fly by and she didn't even realize. It reminded me of the quote that my dad used to always tell me: if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. You know, this is the part where her business is really taking off. And I think that that's, at the end of the day, what I related to so much and why I love that book and why I do think it changed my life, because right then and there, I was so inspired. I filmed a video that I was so excited about, and then after that, another and another and another, and it kind of just gave me that inspiration again. It kind of motivated me again that yes, I want to do something I'm passionate about. You know, like after you watch a TED Talk or a motivating talk and you just feel so inspired, you feel so motivated that you could just take over the world, like you could do anything. That's how I felt after I listened to Girlboss. And it's crazy because like I said, I wasn't expecting to even feel that. Like I really had no idea, I didn't know much about the book other than it was written by Sophia Amoruso, the creator of Nasty Gal. But I never knew that it was going to actually physically inspire me to then go and film a video. The other reason why I really enjoyed that book is because she talks about finances. She talks about credit score, sharing her own kind of story that when she opened a Victoria's Secret credit card and then moved and didn't pay it off, that it ended up hurting her credit, not just that year or the year after, but it's stuck on her credit for a really long time. In this day and age and the world we live in, having a good credit score is so important. It doesn't just affect things like buying a house. That's what I used to always think when I was younger, like, okay, I just have to have a good credit score for, you know, when I eventually buy a house someday. No, you need a good credit score when you are getting a car, when you're getting your first apartment, when you're renting. So I really love that she added that into the book, just something to think about, you know what I mean? Like even if you're reading this book in high school, just something to keep in mind that you want to have a good credit score, you want to build up your credit, and if you are applying for a credit card at a store, that you definitely want to pay that off. So those are my top books. Let me know if you guys want me to do a part 2, because there's more law of attraction books I want to talk about, and then there's a few other books that I'm finishing reading right now that I kind of wanted to put in this video, but then I was like, well, they haven't quite changed my life yet. Like I'm still kind of working on the lessons to practice some of the things and the techniques that you just learned because you're taking on so much. So yeah, if you guys want to see a part 2, definitely let me know. I love you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye.